Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, November 19th. It is 6:29 right now. We got market opening up in a few moments. Um, sorry, getting off to a little bit of a late start today. I had some connection issues. I had to reconnect a couple times. Of course, I'm a ninja trader over here. Disconnected a couple times too. Anyways, here are the entries for today. We have one at 6:29. It's a weighted 60% average. Uh, So it's not a target entry, but if you are looking to take the 629, break it on open, it's going to be, looks like a buy position, but obviously be looking for a sell right there. So the one that I'd be looking for here would probably be a 632 entry. As you guys can see from the stats over here, there's not really too many entries that have been coming up. This is just the recurring theme for November, as you guys have seen so far. There's just not many entries that have came up for November. Um, I think I might have to run another test of data. Or let's see, is Masish here right now? Hey, Masish, is there a way you can run basically a 3 week sample? I'm just curious to see if like a 3 week sample would have a lot more entries. Because there's only two target entries for today with a 4 week running sample. So I'm curious if like, we need to switch back to that 3 week period. Okay, perfect. Yeah. If you want to send them more, that'd be great. Yeah, because I'm thinking if we should go back to the 3 week sample period or if we should stick to the four. Because I mean the four is fine. If we don't get a lot of entries, that's okay if the trades are good. But if there's more entries on the 3 week period and they're okay, they're not like horrible, then maybe a 3 week period would be good. Because this is what we talked about before. Having a big sample is good because we have more accurate data, but a lot of times there's going to be less entries. So. That'd be great. Thanks, Masish. And I'll just wait on that. There's not many entries for today anyways. There's going to be one right here at 632, but we're looking for a buy. So in order for us to have this entry at 632, we need to have a buy signal here. We would need a buy signal. All right. I mean, we're just gonna wait. There's no entry at 632. So 632, the algo presented, I mean, they both had good probability. If you wanted to take a sell there for 632, you could. But I mean, obviously with the statistics here, I'd be looking for a possible buy. But the sell here isn't like horrible. It's 63% as well. So if you were to do the weighted average for 632, it'd be okay for a buy or a sell, but I chose to go with the buy because the buy is higher. Has an 88.89% probability. And I can pull it up right here as well. So you can see over here for the 632 entry, pretty much 8 out of the 9 buy entries have hit. For the short positions over here, 7 out of the 11. So it's still pretty good, I mean, for the most part. But like I said, I'm going for one direction. I'm not giving the option for me to look at both. So it looks like, the buy here would have played out if it would have came up, but there was no buy entry there. So let me just move this over a little bit. I'm just going to change this back to whatever's going to happen later for actual entry. 716. Okay, so here's a 632 entry right here. So like I said, I was looking for a buy here. It looks like if the buy did come up, it would have played out, right? So the algo is not wrong. It's just the entry didn't show up for a buy there. And the price action didn't show up for a buy either. So it's not like I would have taken this trade to begin with. There's no price action here showing that price was going to shoot up, but the algo over here identified that buys here were typically the directional move at 632. Perfect. Thanks, Masish. No rush. You could take your time with it. I'm just curious to see what the numbers are looking like for that. Because right here, I mean, there's a couple entries here with the 4 week period. I mean, a lot of them just kind of sit around the uh, the list, but they're not at that 65% threshold. So if you guys looked at our total results for the whole I mean, I wish I had the whole month's data and I wish I had October's data too. But for the most part, we started our spreadsheet over here. The spreadsheet over here shows that like either way, you should be in profit if you took every single trade or if you took just the target entries, right? For the target entries over here, you'd still be at about like 1R because you'd have a 3R on this day, 17th on Monday, and then you'd have a lot of 0Rs because there's not a lot of entries that have came up over the past week or two. Um, this is usually what makes or break a trader, right? I talked about this with a couple other people who are applying different strategies that are not too similar to what we're doing here. There's some people who are trading sideways strategies and they're doing pretty well, right? If you're trading sweeps, then you're probably doing well here because we're in a very, choppy market in a sense. Um, the thing with trading guys is that you don't have to stick to one specific strategy or you don't have to only trade it one way, right? Like for us, we trade momentum here and we're ma mainly trend traders for the most part. Even though we're not looking at trend here, in a sense, we still are for the most part trend traders because we're trading with momentum. So if price is going down, we're typically looking for trades to the downside. If price is pushing up, we're typically looking for trades to the upside, right? So we're not really in a trending market right now. So with that being the case, there's not too many entries for us. As you guys can see from the statistics for this year so far, we didn't really have many entries for this month. I mean, there's only been like a couple entries which have came up. It's been a pretty dead month for us because market's been very choppy and back and forth. For October is a very trending month, so like we had a ton of entries over here which came up, right? So you guys have to understand that sometimes the market's going to do this, and this is how a lot of people get shaken out of the markets because they see the market not work for their specific strategy and they change to a completely different strategy, month after month or after month. So for me here, I'm not really trying to make any changes to the strategy at all. I'm just looking to see if there's a better edge if we're going with lesser or more data, because the edge obviously changes very often. Like the edge was good 4 weeks ago, and now the edge is, I mean, it's still there, but it's not. There's just not very many opportunities. It's like this is a time to kind of like sit on our hands for the most part until something here comes up. But anyways, let me mark up some market structure here so that you guys can kind of see what's going on for the most part. So we do have some market structure right here. And we have some market structure down here. And you can see that this is currently the bigger range in a sense. And then we have a smaller range right here, kind of in between as well. It's kind of like levels to this market structure. And I think the crazy thing about this is that it looks like the market's not really moving very much, but it actually is moving pretty high. The ATR is actually at 35 right now, so it's not a slow market. It's just a very choppy market. Choppy but volatile. I'll just extend this out a little further. Okay, cool. So see how price is having trouble getting past this area right here? Just another example of like of us being in a choppy market. Perfect. Thanks, Masish, for doing that. Here's Jonathan's profits for the day. So Jonathan took the breakout on open, the original breakout, not the algo breakout, but just the regular breakout with momentum. And Jonathan here did lock in some pretty good profit on that. So here is Jonathan's profits. Glad to see someone's profiting here, even though I'm not taking anything. So Jonathan locked in 776 for the day. Nice work, Jonathan. Okay, perfect. Strategy analysis. So let's see. This is 15 trading days. Yeah, so it looks like there's a bit more target entries here. Yeah, let's see. I'll copy this over here. Let's kind of put this in our thing. Just kind of put them so I can put them side by side for the most part. Yeah, ours look pretty much the same for the 4 week sample. Oops, this thing came out. Are you sending me the sheets too, right? Maybe I could just take a screenshot of the sheets. I think this one's a little too big. Cool. Okay. So yeah, quite a bit of entries right here. I'll just take a screenshot of this and I'll put this on our chart. I just want to take a look to see. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more entries here. Yeah, Messi said this is the most target entries he's ever seen. So more is not always great, right? So I want to look at the entries, but I want to make sure that they're actually good. So I'm gonna, oops, did I? Okay, copy that. Huh. Oh, the image is too large. Weird. Why? Oh, I'll leave it like this. Okay, so wait, why is it too big? Oh, it's a megabyte. I could probably, let me see. I'll resave it into a JPEG. Still too big. That's weird. Okay, let me save it. I'll make it smaller. Oh, the file's so big. Usually, I'll just leave it here for now. Anyways, there's nothing to take here to begin with, guys. You guys can see markets here very choppy. There would be nothing for us to take here. Okay, I'm just kind of curious to see. So 639, this would have been with momentum. That would have been a loss. 647. Okay, I'll just keep following this here and I'll kind of see where we're going with this. Uh, Actually, no, I take that back. So this wouldn't have been a trade. 639 would be no trade because that would have been a sell. So let me try to see if I could make this a smaller file. So over here. Export JPEG. Okay, I think this should be better now. What? Okay, one more time. I think it's got to be smaller than 200 kilobytes. Let me see. Um, okay, this should work. I don't see why this wouldn't work. That's so weird. I don't know. Okay, well, whatever. I can't paste it for some reason. Um, it's not the file size. I guess the photo's too big. Okay, not a big deal. We'll just look at it from the chart right here. Okay, anyways, so there's no actual entry until 7:16, so we can kind of just take a look at these here while we wait. Next one's going to be at 6:47, so that's going to be for a buy position. We'll see if it comes up. I mean, look at the market right now, guys. There's nothing to take here to begin with. I mean, even if you wanted to take a different type of directional strategy, look at how the market's moving right here. There's really no point in taking anything, right? Unless you guys are taking sweeps. Sam's probably having a field day right now with these sweeps. But yeah, I'm gonna sit back and kind of just wait. I don't have an entry until 7:16, like an official entry that I'm looking to take here. So we can kind of sit back and just wait for these possible entries to show up. So we have this one over here at 647. I'll be looking for that one. It's going to be for a buy position. Not one of my target entries, but one of these here that's listed. Yeah, Masish said this is like these are the most target entries he's ever seen. It's the most I've ever seen either. I haven't seen these uh ever. And just looking at this here, I mean they kind of line up with these, right? So like for example, the 639 here. This is on a 4-week sample. It got really close to the 65, but not quite. So if we went on a 3-week sample, it'd be a lot closer because there's a lot of entries here that were like closer to 60, but not close enough to reach that 65 threshold. So we'll see as it gets closer to there. I'll also have a list over here, of course, for the trade that we did take so far, or that came up. So 629, obviously no entry. 632, no entry. 635. Was there an entry there for 635? 635 was for a buy with momentum. No, actually no trade there because there was no bullish momentum there. So a lot of no entries for today so far. 639, also no entry, I think. Yeah, no entry. This has been the common theme for uh for the market lately. 641. So this one at 641 actually came up. The 641 was with momentum, 60% weighted, 50% overall, 70% buy. So obviously you'd look for a buy there. Let me see if it played out. 641, which is right here. No, that would have lost. Yeah, I mean, it would. So with the market conditions, like I said, we're in a choppy market, so it's not an entry that I'd be looking to take. Plus, it's not a target entry, but I'm documenting this here so that we have the data here. Moving forward in case you want to take these non-target entries, of course. Next one's at 701. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here. So 647 is the next one coming up right here, it looks like. So 647 over here is for a long position. It's going to be with momentum. So this is going to be an entry right here for the 3-week sample, not one that we're looking at. It's just one that we're kind of we're looking to sample here. Um, let's try to highlight it there so I can focus on that one. So I'm not taking this position here. We're just following it. The only position I'm really looking to take is the 716 here. If it comes up, uh, uh, realistically, it's probably not going to come up, but we'll see. We have a lot of time from now until then. Price is still chopping within these market structure levels that I drew up. Again, this is going to be one of the 3-week average entries. It's for a buy. Candle was huge on that one. It's a little too big. It's not that big. 35 points, so it would have been fine. That would have been stopped out. So it looks like there's more entries here on the 3-week sample, but they're not necessarily good entries. So I think we're still good with this 4-week average that we got going on here right now. Because we're getting less entries, but we're also not getting, suckered into these like crappy trades. So here's the one that we were just looking at. That wouldn't have played out. 647. Weighted 68, overall 53, buy 33, sell 83, and it obviously did not play out very nicely. So 649. So we're just trying to test out to see which sample size is better, either a 3-week average or a 4-week average. It's looking like The 4-week average here is still superior. This is 649. This is gonna be with momentum for a buy. So this is gonna be another one right here. If this becomes the case, if this one ends up hitting, I mean, we'll follow it. But it looks like from the price action right now, that price is having trouble getting past this whole area right here, right? I mean, it might be a break and retest of the area, so it might be good, but it also may be a fake out back into the range, right? A lot of different scenarios here that can play out. If you're looking from I guess like technical analysis side. Yeah, again, right here does not look like it would have played out. So I think this kind of proves my hypotheses properly that I think the 4-week average is still better. There's more entries here on the 3-week average, but the 4-week average, we're not taking any trades here. We're also not taking any losses. Just a good thing. All right, anyways, we'll keep following it here. I'm still curious to see, what else comes up. But just I already eyeballed this before we even got to this point. I saw market here was pretty much ranging within this area. I drew this range before all these moves even happened. And I mentioned that this is just not the type of market to be taking directional moves in, right? Like you can't really take the momentum trades in this type of market because we're just stuck in this range the whole time. And you got to understand how to categorize, your days. Like before this day started or before we started trading, I already knew, okay, this has been choppy. So unless it breaks above and continues to climb up, then I'm probably not going to have any entries here. Or vice versa, if it doesn't break down here and continue dropping, then I'm probably not going to have entries there either, right? So, I mean, this is like this is like a key skill that you guys would need to have when you guys are trading, right? It doesn't matter what type of strategy that you're taking. You have to be able to read the market and understand, what kind of market are we in? Are we in a choppy market? Are we in a consolidating market? Are we in a ranging market? Are we in a directional market? We're obviously not in a directional market here. This could be considered a ranging market, or if you want to go even tighter, you can say that it's, a consolidating market. Because that's really what it is, right? You can see over here, this is where the meat of the movement is. Basically, price will move out of this area. It'll fake out, pull back into this range. Price will push out of this area, fake out, pull back into the range, right? This is like the real range right here down the middle. And you can see from these huge wicks over here that price is not getting out of this area as hard as it tries, right? Huge wick right here, huge wick right here, huge wick right here, etc. This is this is really where the real skill of trading comes in. It's not necessarily looking for buys or I mean, not necessarily looking for wins because it's easy to win at trading, right? You can take any random trade, like for example, here, you can take a random buy, you could probably win. You could take a random sell here, you could probably win. The real skill with trading is understanding when to sit out. And the thing is, I know that this type of market doesn't work for my strategy because I trade directional, right? So for me here, it's better to sit out of the market than to hop in and try to like squeeze out some trades here and there. I mean, it's possible. Like I said, it's easy to win a trade because you can take a buy or a sell at any moment, but it's really hard to be able to sit on your hands and understand, okay, this is not a good market for me because, once you start stacking up losses, you start to dig up a pretty deep hole for yourself. For me, for right now, that for this month specifically, I didn't take very many trades. I'm basically at break even for the month. I'd rather be at break even than have a bunch of losses. I know a lot of other people who are trying to make this type of market work for them, and they're blowing accounts, right? Like, I think it's crazy on social media. Like I understand that like blowing accounts is like part of the game, but I think it's like crazy that people will like be on social media and then keep that like they're what's it called? They're motivating people to blow accounts, right? Like they make it seem like it's nothing. And it's not a good mindset to be in. Like you shouldn't have that habit where you're like, oh, it's okay to blow an account every single day or every single week. Like for me, I haven't blown an account and I can't even remember how long. I haven't made a shit ton of profit, but I also have not blown accounts. I think blowing accounts is not a good habit to get used to. Um, and I think that with these prop firms, a lot of people like they've just grown numb to blowing accounts because it's easy to just buy a new account. For me, I don't. I'm trading live accounts, so I can't just blow accounts because if I blow them, then that's I can't just reset them. that there goes the money. So yeah, I mean it's like a double-edged sword if you guys get into the prop firm space or if you guys have only been trading prop firms because they put you in this mindset where like you kind of want to like you're okay with like blowing accounts and losing money because it's not your money, right? But once you move over and you start trading your own live funds and your own cash, it's not going to be a good feeling when you start blowing actual like real money. So just something to keep in mind, guys. Let's see. Question from Maria. She said, "Can someone please send me the link for Apex?" Yeah, I think the here. Let's see. I'll send you the. I think I posted it over here, right? I mean, you can see if this link works. I know like a lot of websites were down yesterday. If you guys remembered Cloudflare, they host a lot of different websites, and a lot of the website have been down yesterday. I think Cloudflare just in general was down. So there's internet connection issues. That was widespread. Also, guys, there's a big promo for Apex right now. So I know I just went over that whole spiel of like, it's not good to blow accounts and whatnot, but if you guys need to reset your accounts or get some new accounts, um, there is a promo going on right now. It's 80%. This is probably the best promo you'll get for a while. Um, I think CJ mentioned yesterday, like there's a 90% that comes up usually around New Year's, but not around Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, I think 80% is like as high as it'll get. So it's a 10% difference, guys. Not a huge difference. If you guys need to reset your accounts or you need to get a new one, then today's probably the or not today specifically, but right now is probably the best time to get it. So next entry here is at 701, guys. It's a non-targeted entry. It's going to be with momentum, has a weighted average of 61.37, has an overall probability of 50, buy probability of 22%, and a sell probability of 72. It won one out of the previous four entries, and we're going to be looking for a seller. So we'll see what happens here. Let me go ahead and take a look at the list that Masij provided. So 649, I think we looked at 649, and that was a flop. Or let's see, 649 here. Yeah, unfortunately, that was a flop. Next entry on Massage's 3-week sample is going to be at 659 against momentum for a short position. Okay, this one has 3 out of 3 that have hit, so I'm kind of curious to see how this one plays through. This is actually a target entry at 659. It's not on my list, but it's on the 3-week sample. Okay, so that's coming up in a few minutes. We'll kind of wait and see what happens here next. Let me just scroll up real quick if I'm missing anything. CJ, yeah, sure. Let me sorry, I just saw your message. I'll put Message's list over there. There you go, CJ. There goes a 3-week sample right there. Let's see. Yeah, no problem, CJ. Yeah, if you guys want to take a look at it, feel free. I'm not really looking to take these. Of course, I'm just looking to verify to see if like they could be possible good entries. Um, because I was just curious because we don't have a lot of entries here at 6 or with the 4-week sample. So I was looking for a tighter sample, which is 3 weeks. There's a lot of entries here. I just don't know if they're good. Right. Okay, so this is 659 right now. It's not one on my list here, but 659 is going to show that it's a possible sell entry. It's going to be against momentum. So this here is looking like it's going to set up. So once this candle closes, I'll be looking for that there, 659. I'm not taking it, but I'm going to be following it. I mean, the stats here look good overall. Price action doesn't look good, but it looks good here overall. So we'll see. Looks like there might be some structure up here where price might bounce off of. So this could be a good confluence for it for the most part. Okay, so we'll see if this here flips. See if this flips back down. Sam said, nope, sitting on my hands so far, waiting for my levels or a push towards it. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so Sam's actually sitting on his hands too. He's typically Sam's like trying to get these smaller bounces, but he's waiting on it. Looks like it's in line with what we're looking for. All right, so that sell entry came up right there off the 3-week sample. See if it rejects off that resistance. It's not on my list of trades, but this could be a start for my 701 here. So my 701 is with momentum, has a 61% probability weighted, 50% probability overall, 22% probability for buys, and 72% probability for sells. It won one out of the previous four entries, and it's for a sell. So with this one right here specifically, this could be the start of the turn. And at 701, it can be a continuation down lower, right? Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but we'll uh we'll see what happens here. Let me go back to Message's list. His over here as well. Same thing. It looks like it has the same type of setup there for sure. So we're just following it. I mean, it seems like a lot of people here are just they're holding out. Not a lot of people are jumping into these positions, especially because of this. The thing with the market here is this it's very unpredictable for the most part. It's reaching levels and it's getting to these points, it's retesting previous levels, but it's not very consistent with the movement with regard to moving down and moving up. It's kind of choppy, pushes up, choppy, pushes again, etc. So we'll see here. Anyways, this trade here at 659 is still running, and then there's another 701 entry right here that's currently running as well. And then there's another one setting up right after at 702 for a sell. Or for me, it's for a sell, and then for the 3-week sample over here, it's actually for a buy. So it's a little conflicting depending on which data you guys are, attempting to use here. Well, let me see. I think this 659 one is not doing so well. I mean, technically it's still running, but it's not doing so well right now. The stop out zone's gonna be right there. And then the 701 entry is currently running as we speak. So this would be the target down here. Basically, if price pulls down into this lower area, it's gonna hit target. If it pulls up here, it's gonna hit stop. So we kind of just have to see where it pushes from this area right here. I mean, either way, there's no entry there for me specifically. Um, so these entries here are actually different. Or no, there's actually no entry there. Sorry, I take that back, guys. The 701, there was no entry because this was with momentum. There was a pending sell signal here. This is why I was expecting it to come up, but the pending sell signal never closed. There's actually no entry there for 701. I'm not putting the forecasting tool up here anymore because I don't want people to think I'm in a position. I know some people think because I put a forecasting tool here that I'm in the position or that I'm entering it. I'm just forecasting it, right? That's why when I put this up, I'm just forecasting to see where it's at. But some people have been getting confused about that, mostly new people. And that's why I'm not really putting in the forecasting tool there. I'm just measuring it because I don't want people to think that I'm in the position when I'm not. Because I'm obviously I already made it clear I'm not taking any positions until 716. That's why I have a line right here. We're just kind of following through. Yeah, CJ said it's near Asia high right now. Okay. It's crazy. The market structure I drew yesterday is still here. So price is still sitting at the same area of market structure from yesterday. It's not really going anywhere either. It's just sitting right there. So this goes back to what I was just talking about earlier, right? This is not the kind of market you want to be taking directional entries in. Same with this down here. When price is ranging or consolidating like this, you don't want to take momentum entries because there's no momentum there, right? You want to be taking when price is moving like this, but you want price to be moving like this consistently, right? So you want price to kind of push up, maybe consolidate for a little bit and then push up higher, or push up and then come right back down. That's not really happening here. Price is just sitting flat, right? In a sense. So there's not really much here to work with or take or anything like that. Next entry was at 702. I don't think there was an entry there either. 702 is also a sell with momentum. There's just a ton of no entries here, guys. Honestly, there's a ton of no entries here. Um, the next one's at 711. Let's see. So that's 659 right there. I mean, technically at 659 entry is still running, guys. So the stop level is right there at the 20. So this first entry from 629 is still running. There's no entry here at 701. There's no entry here at, or technically there was at 702. It was with momentum the other way. See, 702 would be right here. I mean, it's still running. So both of these are still running, 659 and 702. I'm actually glad we don't have entries here because this would kind of stress me out if I was in a position and just waiting for this here to, do something. Because when you're in a position like this and price is just going back and forth, this can really hit your stop or hit your TP. And in that situation, it becomes like a nail biter, if you guys know what I mean by that. Like you're just kind of like stressed out, waiting for something here to happen, and then you're hoping that it hits your target, but then you're also hoping it doesn't hit your stop, and you really don't know where it's going because there's no momentum behind it, right? You can see all the wicks right here. Let's zoom in a little bit. Bunch of wicks on top, bunch of wicks on bottom. Price is just going sideways here. It's not a good feeling if you're in a position, whether you're a buy or a sell, it's not a good feeling to be stuck in a position like this and just kind of praying that it goes in your direction. Because this thing could easily push down very quickly and stop you out, or it can push up very quickly and stop you out, right? And then after that, it can easily come right back down. Like I see this happen all the time. It strikes you out, comes right back up. Or vice versa. Price goes sideways, spikes up, stops you out, and then comes right back down. This is an area to shake out people who are trying to get in at this level, right? This is it looks like it's not a high volume area, but it's more so like if people are stuck at this level here now. Mostly retail traders, right? Because if the institutions were playing right now, they'd be pushing price in or out of this area. It looks like there's just nobody trading here right now. Well, at least no one that with enough size to move price. It's just a bunch of retail traders trying to get in or out of their position here. You can kind of spot these retail traps. So that's why for me, I don't like trading at these levels. I know like Sam and some other people like to take sweeps at these levels. For me personally, I don't like taking any entries at like levels that are like prominent like this right here because I already saw this was a turnaround point. A lot of these areas become retail traps because they'll trap retail traders here that look at sentiment. Once they can identify where there's a majority of traders, they'll stop them out the other way because you're just creating liquidity for the market makers and institutions, right? You're creating liquidity. If people are entering with a bunch of stops down here, you're creating liquidity on this downside. If you're entering with your stops up here, then you're creating a bunch of liquidity there. So if the market maker, like for example, if I wanted to drop, like say if I was going to drop 200 contracts right now, I could probably push price maybe 5 to 10 points in one direction, right? So for example, if I wanted to push price up here, say about like 10 points, like just enough to stop people out, it'll trigger all of their liquidity. But obviously, you have these bigger players who are dropping like 1,000 contracts. They could push price like, 50 points or 30 points. That's enough to wipe everybody out, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. So, and this thing is not going anywhere right now. This is a classic retail trap. There's a lot of retail traders who are kind of trapped right here, I'm assuming. Some of them are looking to take buys, some of them are looking to take sells, and it seems like they're building up sentiment on one side or the other. It doesn't take like one retail trader, it'll take a bunch of them. Like if you have like 100 people who are trading right now, and everyone's putting in like maybe 3 or 5 contracts, it's like 500 contracts kind of just sitting on both ends, right? 250 down here, 250 up here. I don't have the depth of market open, and I don't really trust the depth of market to be honest, but the depth of market will show you how many sitting orders are on the bid or ask. Because this range here is not very big when you think about it. It's a 20-point range. Once, a market maker or market taker decides to push price, a few points out a little bit, they can start to trigger some of the stop losses. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I mean, the thing is they're not really looking to so a lot of people always say that the market makers are looking to take to basically take your stops out. They're not looking to take your stops out. They're just trying to push wherever liquidity is sitting. There's a lot of liquidity sitting up top or a lot of liquidity sitting down here. It basically gives them a free move. They just have to drop a certain amount of contracts to push price out of this area. And then once it pushes out of the area, it goes for what people call a stop loss hunt. But market makers and market takers don't really care about that. They just want liquidity there because it's going to help push their position in that direction. Right. So just something to keep in mind. Market makers don't care where retail traders are trading for the most part. They just care where sentiment's sitting. And here we go as price pushes up. I'm sure there's a lot of liquidity sitting up here because people who are taking the sells or the buys. And at this point right now, it is starting to push up a little bit. So see how this candle here is a strong green candle? It's triggering a lot of liquidity there. There's probably limit orders that are just sitting there, or not limit orders, but stop orders that are sitting there and they're getting filled. And I can see this because you can see from the size of the candle, right? You can just look at the candle. If you look at the price action here, you don't even need to have like order flow or any of that stuff or tape rating. You can just look at the candle. If the candle's moving up smoothly, it's because it's filling, whatever limit orders or not limit. I keep saying limit orders, but they're not always going to be limit orders. Yeah, they could be stop orders, they could be just pending orders just sitting there. Here, let's see. Yeah, and Masih said those are the whales we are trying to copy. Exactly. Yeah. That's literally what we're trying to do here. We're trying to wait for those to make their moves, and then we're trying to hop in with them or right before they get in. Because yeah, we're a small fish in the sea. I'm only putting in like maybe 200 contracts or so. I'm not dropping 1,000 contracts yet. Maybe in the future, yeah, but right now I'm still a small fish when it comes to institutional traders. Oh, guys, and another heads up. So I just talked to the regulators yesterday from the NFA. I'm hoping, so they said by the 26th, I'll get a response for my disclosure documents. So hopefully by the 26th, we can start that transition over to StoneX. Fingers crossed. It could happen anytime sooner, but November 26th is going to be the deadline for them to send me a response. They're either going to send me a response and then I have to make some edits to the disclosure document, and then it's going to be another 2-week waiting period. Um, or hopefully there's no edits that need to be made. I've been talking with the regulators almost every other day now, just giving them insight and clarification on my disclosure document. So hopefully there's no problems. Every time I speak with them, I ask them if there's anything they need. And they said they don't need anything. They just needed some clarification. Here's the problem. So basically they kind of want me to drop Kodi Kai trades and just focus on Kodi Kai capital, which is going to be the case, right? Basically, they want Kodi Kai trades to go away because they don't want people to, obviously be using my strategy, of course, if I want to be using it with a hedge fund. So we already made an agreement that whoever's in Kodi Kai trades right now, like you guys that are here in the Zoom or whatever it may be, using my strategies, my indicators, you guys are perfectly fine. I told them that whoever is in is going to stay, but basically it's going to go away for new people because I'm not supposed to be sharing the same strategy that I'm using for the hedge fund. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird rule. It's a weird thing uh that like they kind of don't allow and stuff. Anyways, here's price pushing up. We're getting close to that 716 entry. So this right here at 716, guys, is going to be against momentum. It has a 70% probability weighted, 55% probability overall, 38 for buys, 85 for sells. It won three out of the four recent entries for 716, and we're looking for a sell here. So what I'm going to be looking for, and I don't think this here is going to play out because I was looking for price to kind of slow down a little bit. You know, it's pushing up right here pretty quickly. I was looking for it to kind of slow down here a little bit and then start to make a turn to the downside. So that's what we were looking for here. We're looking for a reversal to happen here at 716. I don't really see momentum here slowing down. So unfortunately, it's not looking like we're going to get an entry here at 716. If you guys want to take it, you guys are more than welcome to jump into this position here. But you know, what I tend to do is I look at the price action. And if the price action looks like momentum is pushing up, which it currently is, I don't want to jump in front of that, right? This is they call it I forgot what it's called, a rising knife or a flying knife or whatever it may be. When it's going down, it's called a falling knife, and when it's going up, people call it a rising knife. You don't want to be in the way of a rising knife, right? Because it's just going to cut right through you. Like say, for example, this is your hand, this line, and if you try to jump in front of a rising knife, it's going to cut right through you, right? And you don't want to do that. You want price to slow down and then look for it to turn the other way. So yeah, we'll see here. Okay, so the entry is coming up right now at 716, guys. This is the entry at 716, which is going to come up after the close of this candle. If you guys want to take it again, take it at your own risk. Like I said, the momentum here is just a little too strong. It's a little too strong. I do like that there's a big candle right here, though, but I don't think this is what I'm going to take because, like I said, I don't want to catch a rising knife, right? Price is rising way too fast. There's too much momentum, too much volume behind it. Like this is a strong green candle. I don't want to jump in front of this bullish move here to take a sell, right? So if you guys want to take it, I mean, feel free. I will. Follow it for you guys. But again, you know, I already made my criteria there. It's obviously not one that I'm looking to take. The 7-11 entry here came up. I don't think this here even played through. So this was against momentum for a sell. That would have been a loss. Not too many entries today so far again. All right, so see how momentum is still pushing up, guys? Let me just make this a little smaller. See how momentum is still pushing up? This is exactly what I anticipated to happen, right? You don't want to catch that rising knife. Um, or you guys can call it whatever you want. I just call it rising knife because that's probably the simplest way, simplest name to give it. But this is what we call a rising knife where price is pushing up. It hasn't stopped out. I mean, this can easily just shift right back down, but I anticipated this momentum to keep pushing up higher, mainly because of this candle right here, right? Mainly because of that candle right there. I mean, this can easily come right back down and hit target, but I wasn't willing to take that risk there. Sam over here caught a trade. Nice work, Sam. Full TP for Sam on whichever entry he decided to jump into there. I think he rode this to the upside. CJ said, I hope the regulators send them to you by the end of the week, no later than Monday, so you'll be ready to launch into StoneX before the holidays. Yeah, that's the key thing, right? I want to launch back into StoneX, or I want to launch into StoneX as soon as possible because I want to be able to take trades and not worry about disconnects, right? Surprisingly today, no disconnects with NinjaTrader for once. I don't want to jinx it, but I mean, it wouldn't matter because there's no other entries for me to take right now. All right, so the trade here is still running, guys. This is the 716 entry. I mean, so far, so good. It's looking good so far. It's about to reach its target, it looks like. It went into like some slight drawdown for a second there, but it is, I mean, it's coming down. Yeah, it looks like it's about to hit there. There you go. Full TP. If you guys caught that trade, great work. Like I said, it didn't meet the criteria, or I mean, it met the criteria, but it didn't meet my criteria for price with the price action and whatnot. So win right there. Next one's at 728. Non-targeted entry, but another one right there coming up shortly. So if you guys caught that right there, I mean, the only entry that came up today for a target entry hit full TP right there. That's the only one. 632 didn't come up. It was a no entry. I think as we hang out here for a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and just I'm going to update the statistics here. So no entry for that. 39. Seven 11. Okay, so I'm updating the spreadsheet as we go. There's three more entries coming up. One at 728, one at 736, one at 753. I mean, looking at the stats so far for the target entries, I mean, it looks pretty decent overall. Or just in general, everything looks pretty decent overall. I'll show you guys the numbers later. If you guys want to follow it as I update, the algo spreadsheet is posted in the chat or in the Discord in general. I already updated them right here. So no entries right here. It's currently at, for the most part, 0R if you counted every single entry. But if you only counted, and I can update this now because, or I'll do it on the other page. I can update the target entries because there's no other target entries for the day. It's just the totals for today, which are going to be still updating. Okay, so looking at the stats for this, I mean, I guess for this week, for the most part, this week has actually been pretty okay for the target entries. So we'll start from Monday until today. There were three entries, or there were two entries, or yeah, actually, yeah, three entries on Monday that came up. There was one no entry. So there was two wins on Monday, 716, 728. Uh, both hit target. There was a loss at 743. And then right here at on Tuesday, there was no entries at all. And then today there was no entry at 632, but there was one at 716. So this is why it's important that we have the spreadsheet here because the spreadsheet is going to show us the statistics for specific times, right? So you can see over here for November so far, the 716 has actually been pretty good. So 716 right here, there's no entry. 716 right here, there was a win on Monday. 716 right here, no entry. And then 716 today, there was a win. So the more data and statistics that we have here, the more confident we'll feel at taking a specific trade at a specific time, right? So this is going to be really key here. I mean, obviously, I'm not taking every single entry, but if you were taking every single entry, the statistics here are still pretty good, right? This is a 9R minus two, so that's uh 6R, I believe. Plus two here, plus zero. So that's about basically an 8R for the most part. If you took every trade, but if you took only the target entries here, this would be a 5R minus two. It's a 3R for the month, or not the month, from Wednesday up until now. So, I mean, maybe over time I'll start to be a little more confident, even though the price action doesn't show, doesn't give us a lot of opportunity there or confidence in the position. I can maybe start to continue looking for entries, even though that's not the case. So we'll see. We'll see here as price continues to move along. It's breaking, retesting this area. The month of November has just been very, very unpredictable in a sense. It's been very unpredictable in the sense where I don't really feel comfortable taking a lot of these entries. But it seems like, the target entries, if we just focus mainly on the target entries like we've been doing for October, yeah, we're gonna have losses here and there, but for the most part, it's gonna end up pretty good, even if the trades don't really look super great in our favor. So yeah, just something to keep in mind, guys. All right. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. Otherwise, we'll keep looking for opportunities here for entry. It's 6:24 right now. So we have a lot of time now from now until 8 o'clock, about 30 minutes. If there's anything you guys want me to cover, anything you want me to explain, any clarification, feel free to hop into the chat. Next trade coming up here is going to be at 7:28. It's going to be with momentum. We have a sell momentum here, so it's going to line up, looks like, as long as we don't get a buy signal from now until then. So in the next 3 minutes, if this stays continuing to drop to the lower side and we have a sell momentum intact, then this entry here is going to play through. It has a 60% probability weighted, 50% probability overall, 27 for buys, 77 for sells. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Sam said 46, 244 need evidence. Okay. Let's see. 46, 244. Getting close to it. Sam's looking for a bounce there for a buy. Is there an imbalance right there? Yeah, I can see it. So eyeballing it right now is an imbalance right there. Yeah, so Sam's looking for a bounce around this area. Yeah, Masij said market is reclaiming earlier imbalances. Yeah, I agree 100%. Pretty much what it looks like. So one thing I wanted to look at was the orb entries, right? I know like we took the orbs a lot prior. Personally, I don't like taking the orbs as much, but let's take a look at the orb entries for today. Because I still see people raving about the orb very often. So looking at the orb right here, looks like the orb would have lost. Nothing against the orb. I don't find a consistency for myself applying it. Yeah, it looks like the orb over here would have lost because if you took it on the break, it still would have pulled back and stopped you out. If you took it on the retest, it still would have stopped you out as well. So no orb win for the day. I find it crazy how there's some people who like live by the orb, and for some reason I see some people who are just always posting wins for orbs. And I look at the orb and it doesn't hit. So I'm like, what are they doing differently? It seems like every time they take the orb, there's like some different criteria that they use. And not even that they show profits, they just say that they win. So I'm always curious, like when people are taking the orb, like what they're doing differently. Because I know there's a couple different ways of applying it, right? It's either take the close, take the retest, or take the retest to the midpoint. This was another thing that I saw in a choppy market. The retest to the midpoint actually works pretty well, but you'd have to be able to identify a choppy market before it even happens because you either would take the full orb or the break and close, the retest, or if you want to wait even further, I used to take it sometimes down the middle here, not all the way to the mid test, but basically like 10 or 20 points below the retest. Yeah, like somewhere like down there, which works too. There's just the problem with the orb is I feel like there's so many different ways to apply it that in a lot of instances, this just you just gotta stick to one of them. I think the orb yesterday did hit though. For those of you who are still applying the orb or like to apply the orb, I like the orb. I just couldn't find the consistency that I wanted for it. So, for example, over here, this would be the orb from yesterday. You took the break and close of the orb right there. One thing I started to notice is that a 40-80 probably works a lot better than what we did before 40-20. right? I mean, this here would have stopped out still. But if you did 40.80 for the retest, the retest would have been right there. That would have been pretty clean orb continuation. But again, like I said, there's a lot of different ways to apply the orb. So it just kind of depends on how the specific person is applying it. All right, so here goes the 728 entry. 728 entry over here was with momentum. It was for a sell. I don't think it would. I think this would have stopped out. Yeah, it would have stopped out. It was for a sell right there. Okay, so again, I'm just documenting these trades, guys. For the most part, I wouldn't really focus on every single entry that comes up. I would focus mainly on the target entries because that's really what we're looking to take here, right? I mean, obviously, if you want to take a ton of entries, you can, but I don't really recommend it because it's going to eat into your. See, the problem with taking every entry is that it's going to eat into your commissions and fees. And unless you're having a bunch of wins, which you're going to have sometimes, um, you have to be able to weather the storm until you get to that point. Yeah, Sam said not buying anything, bad price action. Yeah, a lot of wicks right there on that area that you were looking at, Sam. Yeah, I agree with you, Masish. I see it everywhere though. It's crazy. Like a lot of people make claims about like I think there was this one guy that I always get advertised with like trading stuff because I'm always looking at trading stuff. There's this guy who said he's had a 265 day winning streak. I think that's pretty crazy to be honest. Like that's almost a whole year of no losses. I don't even know how that's even possible, to be honest. Like, but and the thing is that he's showing like his TradeZella or whatever it may be. I think it's TradeZella. See, the thing with TradeZella is that you can edit those trades. So like he's only showing like I think that's crazy for someone to be that profitable to win 260 whatever days. And then the it's crazy. He said that and these are big claims. Like he said he was up 263 days and then but he's not scaling his account, so it doesn't make sense to me. It's like, bro, if you're winning that much, why are you still only taking like $100 risk? You should be scaling your account higher. And I'm sure he just does it for the social media. I'm not gonna tell you guys what account it is because I don't want you guys to be suckered by this person. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, maybe I should report this guy to the SEC. Maybe I should snitch on this guy because he trades options. The thing with a lot of these, so like for me, I'm taking like the proper route, right? I go through the regulators, the hedge fund and stuff like that. I mean, technically, if you guys are giving, or if someone's giving signals or giving trades out, they're supposed to be registered with some sort of regulatory body. That's how you can tell if the person is legit or not because typically you're supposed to be registered to give trading advice. So yeah, Masiche, that's not possible. Would be a world record. It's not. Yeah, and he trades options. So I don't know. I find it crazy that someone could be in profit that much. I mean, I'm sure it could be possible, but for the most part, I think I think anything over like a month is pretty. It's it's I mean it's just crazy. I mean looking at my stats over here, like I'm not the best trader, guys. 100%. I'm not the best trader, but my stats over here, I could be pretty good and I have a decent win streak, but I'm gonna have strings of losses every so often, right? Like if I was to show you every single day, and it was crazy because he was showing his calendar for TradeZilla and like every day was just green, but he was only taking $100 risk. I was like, that makes weird. That's weird. Like, why would you like you can see over here, I start to scale up from let's go from like January up until like yeah, see my days over here I was taking like certain trades, but I was like not making a crazy amount of profits, and then I start to scale up as I made more. Because ideally you'd want to scale up, of course. But yeah, my charts over here, I'm showing you guys like a realistic. you're gonna have up months, you're gonna have down months. You know, September was like my worst month ever, and then October was like the best month ever, and then this month's just a flat month. But yeah, social media is crazy, especially in the trading space. The trading space of social media, I think, is like really, really crazy because you'll see a lot of things that like you're like, wow, I wonder what this guy's doing to make that kind of profit or whatnot. Um, and then obviously you see that they're selling some sort of service, um, like a Discord or something like that. Which there's nothing wrong with owning a Discord or having a course or having anything like that, but that's crazy. Like if I was to be that profitable and that accurate, obviously I would manage money, of course, which is what I'm doing now, because then you can just multiply it even faster and even higher. Um, but all right, guys, there's nothing here right now. If you guys have any questions, again, feel free to hop into the chat. There's another entry coming up right here at 7:36. It's not one that I'm personally, well, obviously I'm not taking anything here because it's not a target entry. So right here at 7:36, this is against momentum. It's going to be for a sell. This is not going to be an entry. I already know there's no entry here because there's no buy signal. So I'm going to put no entry there. So 7:36, unless we get a buy signal here on this very candle, there's not going to be anything at 7:36. So there's a ton of no entries here, as you guys can see. And then one more at 7:53. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Um, but there is nothing for me to take here specifically. I'm updating the spreadsheet as we go. So again, so everything, if you guys are new here, if you guys are not new here and you guys are still confused about these charts, basically these lists of trades here, all the ones that are in green are my target entries. These are the ones that I plan on taking for the day if they come up with my criteria. The problem with these trades right now is that I'm using discretion. Usually I don't use discretion. So for October, I took all of these trades without really using any discretion. I mean, it might have been a good thing or a bad, or it could have been a bad thing. It's just this month has been very choppy, so I don't really trust the trades as much as I did last month. You know, October was more of a directional, it was more of a directional month, so I didn't really have to worry about the choppiness that's been happening. Like if let's go back to the charts real quick. So you guys can see the choppiness down here, the choppiness right here, the choppiness right here, and the choppiness right here. See, in October, we didn't really have this chop, so I wasn't really too scared to take the entries. And you know, I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. Yeah, like I'm being hesitant with my entries here, even though the algo gives us probabilities. But for good reason, right? Because we're entering November, or we're in November, and we're entering the winter season. If you guys have traded the winter season in the past, this is normal. Like this isn't unusual to happen. And if you guys look at my stats from like previous years, so I think we have um here, let's see. I think I have my stats over here from the previous. Let me see if I could go back far enough, like December of last year. I'm usually more cautious around this time anyways. Like this isn't something new where I'm just cautious around November. This is just I mean typically this is just how it is during this time period because the market becomes a lot more less volatile and it becomes a little more choppy. So I'm just scrolling up. You guys can see how many live sessions I've had for this year so far. Okay, so this is December. I think I have the statistics from last year posted. Okay, so here are my stats for, let me go back another, okay, right here. So these were the stats for December basically. So you can see I didn't really take very many trades for December, right? You can see over here from December I took about, well, November for some reason. I took a lot of trades last November. There's about like almost 35 trades taken in November. October was actually slower for me last year. But you can see over here in December, this is where it started to really dwindle down. I dropped down to like about maybe 14 trades. And this is normal. Like I don't remember what happened right here during November, but it seems like there was a lot of trades last year, November 2024. But in December, this is like a more realistic depiction of like what the winter looks like. It's usually pretty slow. So it's like the opposite. This year I had a ton of entries on in October, and then November I had less. Let's see. Let's go to present day. Yeah, so looking over here, we actually didn't have a ton of entries. We had 17 entries. So we had maybe about like 24 entries for October. And then for November right now, we're currently at only 3 entries for the whole month. We're halfway through the month. I was hoping this week would be a lot more volatile, but it's just not volatile enough for me to take these entries. All right, so we got one more entry here coming up at 7:53. Again, if you guys have any questions or if you guys want me to take a look at anything, feel free to let me know. It's just the time of the year right now where I don't have many entries come up with regard to momentum. I'll put the statistics over here for 53. Let's see. CJ said price is back at Asia high, so I'm done for the day. Yeah, it looks like it's just sitting there, right? Here, I'll update the market structure. Or see, here's the crazy thing. Like I drew this market structure from yesterday. Price respected it right there, right? We drew this from yesterday's session. Yes, we had market structure built up over here from yesterday, and price is still respecting those levels today. So this goes to show that technical analysis isn't necessarily completely unusable. You can still use technical analysis for your if that's your style of trading. For me personally, I try to stay away or I'm trying to move away from technical analysis and mainly focus just on the algo opportunities. But it looks like so the entry right here at 716 lined up exactly with the resistance from the prior day. It's pretty crazy, huh? I mean, it's not crazy, but it's like it's interesting to see. See the levels right there. I'm curious now. I want to see if my levels here identified with, or if it was able to identify that level up there. See the 5 minute. Not quite. Mm, no, not quite. I was just looking to see if there was like any. No, okay. I think what I can do, what I can do is probably, and I'll do this off the live session, but I think what I'll do with this chart, because we have so many markups on here, I'll probably go and mark up previous structure just to have levels marked up on the chart. Um, I guess like maybe a rolling period of maybe like 5 days. Because I think this would be really useful if we had this on the chart. Or then again, this might not be useful. If I have too much stuff on the chart, this might kind of sway my decision with taking certain entries. But yeah, I think the level that would have been cool to have kind of marked up here. Because if I saw that level up there, I probably would have been a little more confident to take the entry here for the 716. But again, like I said, for November, I want to take out as much discretion as possible. I don't necessarily want to have those levels there because those levels are going to skew the way I see things. Especially because this over here, the trend was like very bullish. Yeah, still very bullish here. So I think taking the sells here would have been really tough, just going against momentum and going against that I mentioned earlier, the rising knife. Let's see, Sam said 46,201, 1 minute fair value gap. Oh yeah, I can see it right there. Yeah, the fair value gap would have been right here, it looks like. I mean, it lines up with the current level, but yeah, the fair value gap from right here, this small candle with that one over there, of course. It's bouncing off it perfectly. Nice work, Sam, on catching that. Okay, guys, so again, we have another opportunity right here at 753. It's not a target entry, but it is showing up here. Let me look back at Masige's 3-week sample. Oh, surprisingly, like Masige didn't get any entries lower than that. But let me just see real quick. I thought there would have been like more entries down below, kind of similar to what we have here, but it's okay that it cuts off at 743. So 743 was with momentum. Let me move this over so I can kind of see a little better. 743 was with momentum. It looks like it would have lost actually. Yeah, I think we're better with the 4-week average, Mastige. What do you think? I mean, that's kind of what I see here. Our Mastige is off already. Yeah, so Mastige, I think the 4-week average, so not 4-week average, but 4-week sample. So you can see over here on the 4-week sample, we have less entries, but they're more accurate, right? Because there's more data there. I had Masige pull together the 3-week average here to kind of see if there was like more entries. There's actually a lot more entries, but a lot of them they weren't good entries to begin with because the sample size isn't big enough. Um, so yeah, I think for the most part, we're probably going to stick with what we currently have, the 4-week sample. I did talk to Masij about this later on in the year. So when the volatility does pick up, we might be able to switch back to the 3-week average because there's going to be more entries and there's going to be more volatility in our direction. But I think as of now, it's probably best to just stick to the 4-week average, the stuff that I'm already sharing. Because the algos are, I mean, the algo entries are still good. I mean, if you look over here, if you just stick to the target entries, the ones with the green, you should still be in profit overall. If you take these trades without having any sort of discretion, right? And I think I might continue taking those with just my prop accounts, not necessarily my hedge fund client accounts, but with the prop accounts. I'll just take them just to document them as price continues to, obviously play through. So I'm gonna set that up right now, actually. Sam said, "Baby." Could you guys hear in the background? I could hear her in the background, honestly. Let me see. Yeah, my daughter is like making noise right now. It's getting close to 8 o'clock. Well, my wife is still here, so she's with her, but I can hear her myself as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do over here, guys, is if you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. We have another entry coming up at 7:53. This is going to be against momentum. It has a 60% probability weighted, 55 overall, 37 buy, 66 sell. It won 2 out of the 4 previous entries, and you're going to be looking for a sell here. So in order for you to have this entry here at 7:53, you need to have a buy signal come up prior to it, right? So what you're looking for here, and this is probably not going to happen, but what you're looking for here is you're looking for price to bounce off this area, establish a range, and come right back down. This type of pattern right here. I don't think this is going to happen because price is already coming down, right? You need to have some sort of retracement here for it to slow down and then come right back down lower. This thing's coming down. We're just in a big range. So, I mean, realistically, so take a look at this, guys. This is basically a huge head and shoulders pattern. I don't know if you guys see it, but let me draw a head and shoulders here. So we had a shoulder right here. You guys see that? So for those of you who like to trade head and shoulders, there's a shoulder right there, head, right shoulder, continuation to the downside. Huge head and shoulders right there. I just know this because obviously I've been trading for so long. I know how to trade all types of strategies. Um, the thing with the head and shoulders pattern is that it's easy to see after the fact, but happening real time, it's not as easy to see. But you guys can see that that was basically a textbook head and shoulders right there. For those of you who apply the head and shoulders, that used to be one of my favorite strategies back when I was trading patterns, but I don't really use it. I use it mainly just for confluence. Let's see. CJ's, let's see, go get the princess. Yeah, I'll get her in a little bit once my wife leaves. CJ said, "Hey, Sean, I watched the Larry Williams video 3 times already, and it's more hilarious each time I watch it. The Humble Trader interview was really good too." Yeah, those are both really good, right? Um, So I would, if you want to watch more videos like that, CJ, just if you go to YouTube, just look up Algo Trader or Algo Trading or something like that, and then look for interviews. I think it's really interesting to see how people who trade quantitative data see the market versus people who trade technical analysis. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but I feel like, um, algo trading or quantitative trading, quant trading in general, that stuff. It just makes more sense to me to go off the data. So if you guys are curious to watch those videos, I pretty much look them up every morning. I just look up quant trader or quant trading, and the interviews are actually pretty interesting because you can kind of look into how these people think. I mean, right now the quant trading is like it's tough for me because I keep going back and forth between like discretionary because I'm still a discretionary trader at heart, right? I've always been a discretionary trader. I've always traded technicals, and now that I'm transitioning to quant trading, it's just been a little difficult during markets that are a little bit slower. Like this is a very slow market for me, so or not a slow market in general, but a choppy market where it makes me second guess the quant data, even though the quant data is right, right? The 716 entry, I should have taken that entry, but because I'm using my prior knowledge, it kind of swayed me away from taking the actual entry. Samson, your baby is so lucky. I know the baby's lucky because we're always like my daughter always has a parent with her, right? It's either me or it's my wife. It's tough for like people who work a normal job who have to like who can't be with their baby. I mean, I can't imagine working a regular job and have to and not being around. Um, It's tough. No, it's tough. Having a kid is tough, guys. If you guys don't have any kids yet, um, when you do have a kid, it's gonna be a huge, huge change of pace for you. Like for me, like I'm never on the computer anymore. If you guys ever try to like message me or you message me on Instagram or you message me or text me or any of that stuff, you're usually not gonna get a response from me for a couple hours because I'm with the baby for like maybe half the day. So it's hard for me to get back to you guys. Again, guys, there's an entry coming up right here at 7:53. I'm gonna try to trust in the algo a little more going forward. I think we just had such a great month for October, and then we went into November, and it just threw me off. And this happens with everybody, right? I think also it's not just the algo, but it's also Ninja Trader. Ninja Trader is what's throwing me off also because of the slippage. Um, the slippage is like the biggest thing. I didn't realize, well, obviously I knew there was going to be slippage, but I think there's been a lot of connection issues and problems with NinjaTrader, which has also kind of made me more hesitant with taking trades because the last thing I want to do is enter a position at high volatility and NinjaTrader disconnects on me, right? I think that's the biggest fear for me because I don't want to be trading, like 200 contracts or more, and then NinjaTrader disconnects, and then we're stuck in the position, or certain people are stuck in the position. That's like the worst feeling because then I have the responsibility of like getting out of that position for everybody. So I think the faster we move to StoneX, the better, because then I won't have to have that worry. So there's just a lot of factors that have been kicking in that have had kind of been messing with my trade psychology. It's the NinjaTrader platform disconnecting, slippage, etc. The algo over here providing less entries for November because the market's more choppy and slower. And three, it's just like everything coming all together, right? It's just me using my own discretion. So let me give you guys the options over here. Options for taking algo entries, just so that you guys we can be clear about this. Take all entries, including white, uh, all entries listed, to take all green highlighted entries listed, or three, take only trades Sean takes. So just keep this in mind, guys. There's three ways of taking and applying and using these algo entries. You can either take every entry that's listed, you can take all of the green entries that are highlighted, listed, or you can only take my trades, right? So just pick one of these and stick to it, right? Stick to one because if you change between the two, you're not going to find consistency with your entries here. So going back to the list over here, so if you were taking every single entry that came up, you'd be up basically 9R right here, minus 2, that'd be 7R, minus 2, that'd be 5R, plus 2, that'd be 7R, and then minus 1 over here would be um, shit, I already lost count. I think 4R. So you'd be at 4R for this time period right here if you took every single trade. And then if you only took the green highlight, so again, and that's option one, right? Take every single trade. Option two is you take every green highlighted trade, which is a target entry. You'd be negative 2R plus 3R, so that's 1R plus 2R here. So you'd be up 5R. Basically the same thing, right? Except if you take every entry here, you're going to pay commissions per trade. So you'd basically be exactly the same if you took every trade or if you just took target entries. If you took only my trades, then you'd be at about 1R, if not break even. So you guys can see the numbers are about the same overall across the board. You just have to choose one and stick to it. So either take every entry, take only the green highlighted entries, or only take my entries. That's going to be what you guys will be looking for. Okay, so no entry right here. So at 753, this was against momentum. You were looking for a sell here. This trade was actually for a buy. So because it was for a buy, there was no entry there. Let me 741. So I make sure. Okay, so let me just update that real quick. So again, just a bunch of no entries for the day. So let's take a look at the spreadsheet for today. So if you took every entry that came up for today, you'd be at negative 1R. Not a big loss, right? It's just a small 1R. If you took only the target entries, you'd be up 2R for the day because there's only one entry that came up. 632 is no entry and 716 was a win. So overall, I mean, I think this was a okay trading day. Again, tomorrow, guys, anticipate some craziness in the market, right? We have a lot of news coming out tomorrow. We have jobs data from September, October, and then November. We got 3 months of jobs data being released all in one day, pre-market. So if you guys want to trade on this day, I mean, feel free. If you don't want to trade on this day, just, I mean, you can sit around and just watch. I'm still going to be looking to take trades. I'm just curious to see how the market reacts to all of these news events because I think there's going to be a lot of conflicting data here, right? We got old data over here. We got new data over here. The government shutdown kind of caused a lot of this stuff to get backed up. So we'll kind of see, but I'm still going to be trading. There's only a couple of news events here that are high impact during our live session, which is going to be existing home sales at 7 o'clock. And that's pretty much going to be it. Yeah, Lila said today I only took the trades that are over 77%. Okay, nice work, Lila. So did you take 77% per side or the weighted or the overall? Because there was only one trade that came up for 75, I think, or no, two actually. Or no, actually just one. So if you went weighted, it was just 632, which was no entry. But if you took the ones that were, let's see, I'm assuming you took the ones that were just one-sided, right? Because there weren't too many here that were 75. I mean, it looks like it was just going to be that 716 entry, maybe the 728. Yeah, two trades. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so Lila over here locked in some pretty good profit. So here are Lila's profits for the day. And nice work on that as well, Lila. So Lila locked in 1,347 for the day. She took two trades. Maria said, why is Apex having issues? Yeah, so it's the same thing we talked about earlier. Are you still here right now, Maria? Looks like Maria's out. I'll just type it up over here. reporting yesterday. Yeah, so it looks like Cloudflare is having an issue with their connectivity. But yeah, great work, Lila. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm gonna try to get this list out to you guys a little earlier so we can kind of analyze a little bit further. But like I said, if you were to ask me what I prefer or what I'd recommend you guys take, I would say just stick to the green highlighted entries. Um, because if you stick to the green highlighted entries, I mean, you should be in profit for this month so far because see, it hasn't been a bad month. It's been kind of more so just an okay month for the most part. But I'd rather have an okay month than a bad month. So if you guys do decide to keep trading the algo entries, I would say stick to the green highlighted entries. You're not going to have a lot of opportunities, but most of the time they're going to be good entries, if not just okay for the most part, because there's not going to be too many to begin with. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, like I said, I'm probably not going to be able to get back to you guys until a little later, but I will get back to you guys when I do have the opportunity to respond. But all right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys back here tomorrow for the next live trading session.